choosing the appropriate average. Sometimes it's better to choose a particular statistical average than either the other two. And here we've got some of the pros and cons for each of them. So if we're looking at mean, the mean includes every single value. So if that is important with your data, then choose that. One of the disadvantages with the mean is that if you've got a lot of data and there's a couple of them are really extreme, so if you've got values that are very similar and one or two that are really high or really, really low, then that's going to affect the mean. So that's a bit of a disadvantage with that. And if that's the case, then what you might want to do is choose the median because it's not affected by those extreme values. The only thing with that is then it doesn't include all the data. It doesn't use it all. So if you're wanting something that will split everything in a half as well, so if you're looking for the midpoint, then that would also be a good reason for why you would pick the median. So if you're wanting to divide the range or the data completely in half, or you want to avoid those extreme values, then you choose the median. But then sometimes what happens with our data is that it actually isn't very numerical and it's all words based. And in that case, you can't work out the mean or the median. So you can't put the values in order. You can't add up the values because they're words. So in that case, the mode is the most appropriate. It's also not affected by the extreme values because it's focusing in on the one or the two values that are most common, that are most popular. So it's not affected by those extreme values. But again, if the data isn't different, so if all the data is the same, so there's 4 or 5 different items that you're looking at and they occur at the same frequency, then the mode doesn't really make sense. But it's good in the fact that if you don't have anything numerical, then you can use that. So for this first example, a class voted on where to go on a day out and the results are shown below. So we've got 3 wanted to go to the museum, 5 wanted to go to the cinema, 13 wanted to go shopping, 4 to the sports centre and 2 wanted to go to the seaside. So if we were trying to arrange that value, or those from smallest to biggest, well, we could do it in terms of the popularity, but we couldn't do it in terms of, well, does the museum come first or does the cinema? And what we're actually dealing with is non-numerical data. So this one has to be the mode. And it's the mode because it's non-numerical data. Okay, so we can't put it in order. We can't work out the mean from that. We can't work out what the middle vote would be because we're not sure which way we would order them. So the mode is the most appropriate one there. In example 2, the marks of a class test are given. Which would be the most appropriate average to use here? Well, looking at it quickly, you'd maybe think, oh, well, there's a lot of values here. Let's just work out the average, or the mean. Whenever I've got a class test and I want to find out how well I've done, I just work out the average. But actually what we can see is that the majority of the results lie between 21 and 38. So this data has been put in rank order, which is good. But then we've got this one value, which is away up at 97. So you might look at that and think, well, actually that looks maybe that the test was out of 40. This person has maybe typed it in incorrectly, or maybe this person is a super genius and everybody else has really struggled with the topic. But either way, this is an extreme value. So the mean is not the best one to use here. So the median would be the one that you would pick here. And that's because it ignores the extreme values. So it ignores the extreme value of 97. And then example 3, what we've got is a distribution, a frequency distribution. So 3 employees earned £5.35 an hour, 7 earned £5.80, 9 earned £6.45, and 2 earned £7.25. So we could work out the modal, so that would be £6.45. We could work out the median as well, so we could see which person or which pay was the middle pay. But I say the most appropriate here, whenever we're trying to find the average, is actually the mean, and that's because it will use up all the values. So it uses all the data. And here we can see, so 725 to 535, there isn't a big difference really. So there's no extreme values either. So that's another reason why we could use that.